Did you know there's different kinds of BTs in Death Stranding? Like the burning red BTs, which resist hematic grenades and other fecal attacks, but are weak to bullets coated in chiralium and can easily be taken out by cutting their strands. And since they're a special variant, they also drop a lot more chiralium patches than the average BT. In contrast, there's also the golden BTs that are coated in chiralium. The floating types are weak to hematic attacks, but still might tank a few grenades depending on the difficulty. The second golden BTs are found if you fail to cremate a body or die yourself and cause a void out. Because the game doesn't allow you to get two void outs in the same area, getting detected by BTs near blown up areas will cause the golden hunters to appear, which, if they're successful dragging you down in the tar, will cause an automatic game over screen. Also, in the valley next to the Evo Devo biologist, you can find abnormally large BTs, including this massive one near the lake. Encountering these will cause two bosses to appear, so watch out. But by far the coolest form is the white BTs, which symbolize when a soul finally passes through the beach, though their secret purpose is to remove objects that are blocking porters or the player from moving. This also happens to structures and vehicles when they break down on the field. This is just one of many other cool details we're about to revisit in celebration of Death Stranding 2's release. Death Stranding has a lot of design similarities with Metal Gear Solid. The basic Porter outfits, for example, look a lot like the Parasite suits from MGS5 and Raiden sneaking suit from MGS2. The vehicle, structure, and armor plates materials all have a similar texture and pattern to Metal Gear machines and similar technology found in the franchise. The skeletons remind me a lot of Huey's bionic legs, also having similar kinds of designs, with the strength variant's leg textures being reminiscent of the geckos from MGS3. Plus, the auto delivery bots' heads are pretty much the same as Peace Walker's design, not to mention all the skull motifs that are prevalent across both MGS5 and Death Stranding. This is all thanks to Yoji Shinkawa's consistent art style over the years. Even in the concept art, you can see that Amelie looks nearly exactly the same as Paz from Peace Walker, which is so cool. Kojima even added a Metal Gear reference in the director's cut extra mission, where Sam finds an empty cardboard box and tries to hide in it, but gets out since that's not really his thing. It's really nice to see Kojima openly expressing his connection to Metal Gear again after so long. By climbing up this really tall mountain south of the Timefall farm, not only will you get a stunning view of the entire map, but you'll also find this lone torii gate that someone built, which is so cool. You can even jump on the gate for an even higher view of your surroundings, and to my knowledge, jumping off this peak is the highest freefall in the game, which you can actually survive by using the chiral ramp. In fact, Death Stranding has some of the most scenic views scattered around the map in any video game to date, including places like the waterfall that's close to Mama's lab, the ruined factory that's always filled with BTs flying around the area, the East Region's cremation center in the first area of the game, which has a cool view of this crater, the Central Region's beach that's filled with the jellyfish-like BTs found northwest of the map, and finally Higgs's secret bunker that's filled with the pizzas you delivered him, along with a bunch of photos of Sam on his journey and other evil bad guy stuff decorated all over the wall. There's 7 different hot springs scattered around the map of Death Stranding, each having a unique look accompanied with some special effects, mostly being stamina and health recovery or temporary buffs. Some, called the digestive baths, have properties in the water that boost metabolism and bowel movement, which increase EX grenade rates when using the toilet. But by far the coolest is the recharging spring in the central district that has bolts of electricity surging through the water, which recharges your batteries if you bathe in it. Plus, if you're carrying Mama or the chiral artist and dip in one of the hot springs, they'll actually join Sam, which is pretty cool. Though I did test this with a random porter and he didn't appear, which is a very Kojima thing to do. In the spa, you also get these wholesome interactions with BB swimming around in the pod. This feature is so relaxing and I highly recommend everyone to go check it out. Looking at the mirror inside the private room, you can toggle certain animations for Sam, but taking a picture in the shooting pistols animation will cause the ghosts of the two porters who died in the beginning of the game to appear. And because Igor is Victor Frank's brother, the main porter of Port Knot City, he sends you an email saying he's been thinking about his brother recently after this Easter egg happens. Another hidden cutscene includes this ghost appearing in the shower that's constantly twitching and eventually jumps out to attack Sam, ending the nightmare. In fact, Sam has a few interesting nightmares in the private rooms that are really funny, like this random whale trying to swallow him just outside the exit doorway. Plus, if you look at different areas of Sam while he's sitting down, he'll interact with the camera in unique ways. And because we know Kojima loves feet, looking down has a chance of encountering Kojima covered in tar, which is such a hilarious cameo. These Easter eggs are pretty rare and, to my knowledge, only happen once per playthrough, so keep an eye out. The core gameplay of delivering insanely heavy amounts of goods to remote locations in Death Stranding is actually inspired off real-life Japanese carriers called Vodka, which translates to mountain porters. Sam's real-life equivalents deliver essential goods like perishable foods and drinks to remote villages that have no real way to access them other than by foot. And just like Sam, the team of porters have to go through various rugged terrain and mountainous regions for their delivery. So they have to be careful not to fall over or they can seriously injure themselves, while also trying to avoid wildlife like bears. And because the load can weigh around 80 kilograms or more, the mountain porters have to organize their packages in a similar fashion as the game. Shout out to the channel Japanese Porters for letting me use their footage. All respect to these guys for their work, so definitely check them out. In Hartman's lab, right next to the fireplace, you can find a logo that pretty much says Sony, but with the Y next to the S instead. Other cool references include Deadman. Since he's a combination of different people's organs, he has a scar on his head, which in the art book says it gives him a more Frankenstein monster feel to his character. Die Hard Man's name is a direct reference to the 80s action movie, while the character's actual name, John Blake McClane, is the same first and last name as Bruce Willis's character in the film. In fact, the concept art of the character originally looked more like McClane as well. Plus, it goes without saying that Kojima used a lot of whale imagery in this game, but each bridge's delivery center are also subtly shaped like a whale, which is so cool. It really looks like you're walking out of a whale's mouth when leaving the building, which I never noticed until doing research for this video. And you even hear whale-like sounds when walking to the backside of the building. Just like in real life, the more Sam and other online players use the same pathway, the more it gets cleared up, making it easier to walk on. This happens for most surfaces, even grass, which becomes more like a dirt road. And because Death Stranding's map is largely based off landscapes and environments from Iceland, you don't get too much weather variations other than timefall rain, which ruins the surrounding terrain anyways, and in the storms, sometimes lightning will strike. On the mountains, there's the occasional snowstorms and avalanches, which can do some serious damage. But the sequel has much more weather variations, so I can't wait to explore them all in Death Stranding 2.